have a feeling that I'm gonna be making a lot of enemies with this particular video. At least under the assumption that people didn't have enough of my shit in the last 23 days already. But I'm gonna stick it to my guns. I've been watching it since 2013, around the time the Space Ace video came out, and I still consider Jontron one of the most entertaining YouTubers I have ever seen. One of my starting statements throughout this channel was that I will be majorly talking about the channel, not the person. And while I understand people's thoughts about some of his social-political views, Jontron's show is still entertaining, and I do believe it's healthier to separate the content from its creator. I know it's one of the biggest debates in the entertainment industry, but if you honestly believe that it's not possible, then with all due respect, get away from the internet, TV, radio, and maybe even also stop reading the newspaper, because the industry as a whole is shady as fuck. But to end it briefly, I don't agree with his political viewpoints. However, I won't hate on someone that I don't know, and chances are that most of the people that hate on him don't know him either. So let's just drop that topic and keep moving. As I mentioned already, I started following his content around 2013, right during the time the Space Ace video had just come out. And then we got nothing until September of that same year. I mean, he was making content on Game Grumps alongside Aaron from Starbomb, but it's a Let's Play channel, nothing to write about it. I wasn't the biggest fan of it, and I really didn't care about that, plain and simple. But during that time, I managed to enjoy all of the content that was available on his channel, and it's some of the most random and overly dramatic content that my virgin's eyes at that time had seen. And just to be clear, I was 17 at the time and I was a pure boy, you sick pricks. But seriously, aside from some resolution inconsistencies, I think every video since Joe and Mac all the way to Space Ace holds up to this day. And just like Tom O'Regan, his jokes are very slappy, but I'd say that Jontron has the factor of making his jokes based on going and going.
Send your mama and daddy out of the room.
Oh, I live by myself, thanks. I don't have parents anymore.
You know who I am. Snake. Dealing in weed, coke, crack, your choice.
One of each, please.
Take one hit and you'll do anything to cop more. Steal from your mama.
Hey man, you get bit by like a mosquito or something? You don't look so good.
Do I look like the kind of guy that would do that to a kid like you?
You look like a snake!
Yes!
What? What the fuck?
If there's one thing I can imagine it didn't have that much work with, but I loved its brief time on the spot, was his character or Malkovich. The idea of a gaming talk show on the online world, only for it to just fall off his ass and just beautiful to watch. In the current direction he's going, I think this is the major project that should get another shot.
After the misfortune of those f***ing penguins.
Malkovich, you can't curse, this is public access.
What? After the misfortune of those f***ing penguins.
And speaking of things that still hold up, this original piece really makes me feel happy inside. And the track was originally the theme song for something or someone under the name Parax. You can find the original mix of it on Cryptmate's SoundCloud in the description. I even managed to get my hands on some of the remixes of the theme song, mixed by Plasma Tree Music. Ladies and gentlemen, you're witnessing a possible cease and desist right here.
Jontron.
And with that, we jump into the next era of Jontron, which was the Collection series, in which he will cover several games related to a topic rather than one particular game, alongside some movies and TV shows. In fact, the only solo game he covered during that time was Takeshi's Challenge.
Out of this house! Out of this house! Spirits be gone from this house.
But this was right on the time where he will be making some of the best videos on his channel in terms of the creativity and production values behind them. Sure, there wasn't exactly a studio working through it, but there was plenty of effort in the sprite animations, intros, camera work, and the overall ideas were entertaining from start to finish. I should also mention that this is where I started finding, to put briefly, YouTube subbed channels. They were pretty much people adding proper translations of some YouTube videos according to the language, which allowed me to show some of Jontron's videos to my mom, who loves gaming but knows zero English, so it was just a perfect family bonding with videos of a guy doing this.
Jumping in a car killed me. No, I don't really. That's the way we wash our hands.
And to be honest, it was one of the first moments where I truly started to see the real potential that making content online could get you. It wasn't about having the best visuals, it was about the creativity and adventure and weird mix of both. Another project that didn't quite grab me, but it was enjoyable nonetheless, was his miniseries Starcade, in which he covers a variety of games and entertaining products based on the Star Wars universe. Truth be told, I feel this was too scripted, like it didn't have much of the slappy sense of humor that his other stuff had, but presentation and concept-wise, I loved it and it had a very good ending. I'd say that he should get on to work on more projects like this, but I think we already have that with the current stuff he makes in terms of production values and skits. But I'm getting ahead of myself. After his video on Christmas with the Cranks, he sort of disappeared, and to be fair, him making long hiatuses is nothing new. I mentioned the Spaces video coming up in 2013, but it took about 6 months to get the video, which was Hercules. But it should be said that every time he takes those months-long breaks, he goes into a different direction with his content. From a change in presentation to sometimes straight out changing the formula. After this break, it was clear that video games were not on the mark for topics anymore unless you're Soulja Boy.
Harry got away with the watermelon scot-free! You gotta be fucking kidding me! He got away with this whole time, you bastards! You've been hoodwinked!
But it was clear that he wanted to try with other kinds of topics, which it definitely took away some of his audience, but I personally didn't care that much since it was still Jontron, it was still his writing and sense of humor. That's what I care about. And what was the result?
Lady, I didn't want to do this! I told you to drop the darn knife!
Yep, nope, it's still amazing. I mean, sure, in terms of topics and ideas, this is light years away from the content that established him in the online world to begin with, but I will be lying if I didn't just find myself laughing all the way through this slappy comedy, fantastic editing, while also keeping the creativity that made him stand out to begin with. One of my favorite videos of him is the Kid Nation video, not just because of the insanity of the topic itself, but also how much further he takes it with some of the jokes that are put in. And I'm gonna take a moment to say that I want more Happy Hour, not the machinima stuff, that's dead. I mean this little animated short that was just him and friends having a conversation and then animate the work around the conversation. Those are just great, and I hope episode 1 doesn't stay as the only one.
You realize that streaming is like better now.
Yeah, and what happens when the internet goes?
We're all fucked when the internet
Yeah,
goes, Sergio.
That's because they dropped the bomb on us and we're gone.
Yes, we're gonna have other problems to worry
Yeah, but
about.
I don't know.
I don't have access to my bank.
I don't like Jontron's show because of video games. I like the show because the show is enjoyable. As long as it keeps that sense of humor, the topics themselves won't not matter at all. It allows the channel to get out of a comfort zone, which also allows for people like me to enjoy it all together without feeling repetitive. I cannot say it's for everyone. After all, it is a comedy show and it's hard to recommend something to make you laugh rather than it is to recommend something to make you cry.
His name was Elmo. He was red and furry and liked to be tickled. Son of a bitch. Why do you have to drink so much?
But if you're seeing this list as a forum to check what channels are good to check out, thank you for relying on me to do that, I mean, yeah. And please put this on your consideration in case you haven't watched it to this day. It's a project with a team full of passion, quality, and heart you don't see very often on YouTube. So please check it out. And if John himself gets to see this, I hope he enjoyed this little moment of me being silly for a few minutes, and best of luck on finding Rockington.
What perfection. What a beautiful day, wouldn't you say, Rockington? Oh yeah, I lost Rockington. I lost a rock!
Thanks for listening and see you later.